أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to LQ Milton, class number 46. Inshallah, we'll continue our understanding of Arabic language, book 2. Today we are going to finish lesson number 8, inshallah. It's a very easy lesson in which Dr. Saab is introducing us Fi'l Madi. Now, when you look at the board, for all our students who've been following us, is this something new? No. We've been preparing on past tense or Fi'l Madi for the past many classes. And the reason we've been doing it, when the concept is introduced in book 2, we should be ready. And it all makes sense to us. So therefore, lesson number 8 would be very easy for us. Now, lesson number 7, before we continue lesson number 8, we were learning about the objects or maf'ulun bihi, right? So, jumla fi'liya or a verbal sentence. The minimum requirement for a verbal sentence is the action and the doer of the action, right? We know that. The fail and the file, minimum requirement. But some verbs, what we call transitive verbs, which requires an object to make complete sense out of them, right? We call them muta'addi verbs. Muta'addi verbs. Now, fail and the files are always marfu. We know that files are always marfu, and the objects or maf'ulun bihi are mansub. That's what we learned in lesson number 6 and lesson number 7, and then we did a lot of exercises. So, we have that concept in our mind. But the minimum requirement for a verbal sentence is the fail and the file, the action and the doer of the action. Remember that. But then we have to, once a verb comes to me, right, then I have to stand and ask that verb 2 questions. What are those 2 questions? What and whom? Okay, what and whom? For example, fataha, he opened. Now, the verb comes to me and I am going to ask fataha what or whom. He opened what? It makes sense, he opened something. So, now I need an object. Now, I need an object to clarify my mind, what did he open, right, or whom, right. So, this is about the verbs or the fail. Now, in lesson number 8 and the end of lesson number 7, Dr. Saab is giving us a very detailed knowledge about the files and the spelling rules and a lot of the new concepts. We are going to simplify it. Why we are simplifying it? Because our objective is not to be Arabic grammarian. Okay, that's not our object. Our objective is to understand enough from these books to understand Quran. Okay, so we're going to modify some of our concepts and not go into too much detail. For example, when I say darastum, then we know tum is the file, but then Dr. Saab is again giving us a bit more detail, and that's what we've been learning. Tu is the file and mim is the alamatul jama, the sign of it being plural. Do I really need, well, it's good if I am I want to master Arabic grammar, but then for my understanding, as long as I can identify in Quran when I'm reading it or listening it that it is being addressed to second person, plurals and masculine, that's good enough for me. I don't have to go and then start breaking up darastum into daras is your fail, tu is your file, and mim is the alamatul jama. But it's good knowledge. If somebody is interested, it's good knowledge. But from our perspective, we'll keep it simple. Right? We'll keep it simple and we'll modify our methodology. Everyone knows about a famous 14 pronouns, right? Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna, ana, nahnu. Everybody knows, right? We've been practicing these 14 pronouns. How some of them are third person, some of them are second person, and some of them are first person. Huwa, singular, third person, masculine, right? So when these pronouns, they are detached pronouns, damirun munfasilun, when they come in Quran, knowing them, we immediately would identify who are we addressing it to, right? We immediately know, like if it's huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about third person, right? When anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna comes, I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing us in second person, in plural form or a singular form, masculine or feminine, right? We know that ana, nahnu is first person. We can easily identify it. Lesson number 8 in book 2, Dr. Saab is, and this is the most common confusion among students. They know these pronouns very well, right? But when these pronouns will translate into a verb, that's when they start getting confused. For example, when darasa comes in Quran, or darasta, or darasna, or darastuma, or darastum, these verbs come in the Quran, then we will be like struggling sometimes, who are we addressing it to? So that's what Dr. Saab is trying to teach us in lesson number 8. And it's very easy. We've been practicing them. Okay, so our first task is, now before and then there is another concept which will I'll introduce it in the beginning. Damirun munfasilun, detached pronouns, are these fundamentally nouns? Yes, they are. And what do we know about nouns? They're all marfu, right? So are they marfu? Yes, they are marfu, right? But I don't see a dhamma in the end of most of them or all of them, because they are mabni. They don't change their state, right? So these are all marfu. Remember that. Do we also know about damirun muttasilun, attached pronouns? Hu, huma, hum, ha, huma, hunna, ka, kuma, kum, ki, kuma, kunna, ya, mutakallim, and na. We know about 14 of them as well. And they cannot come on their own. They have to attach themselves to something. Something needs to be attached to them for them to stand in a sentence. If they attach themselves to a noun, then they become mudaf alayh. And what is mudaf alayh? Majroor. When they attach themselves to a verb, then they become mafulun bihi, object. And what are mafulun bihis? Mansub. If they attach themselves to a zarf, then what do? They become mudaf alayh, which is majroor. If they attach themselves to harfu inna, then they become ismu inna, and ismu inna is mansub. So, one distinction, and this is again a grammar concept, but it is an important concept, that the mirun munfasilun or detached pronouns are marfu, but the mirun muttasilun, they can be either majroor or mansub, because they have to attach themselves, and immediately as soon as they attach themselves, then they change their characteristics. So, they cannot be marfu anymore, they either be mansub or they can be majroor, right Sardar Sahab? So, they cannot remain marfu, because whenever they attach themselves, their characteristics change and they either become mansub or a majroor. So, that is something we need to remember, and do not make any mistakes about it, that when the mirun muttasilun come in the Quran, immediately we have to identify that either it is in a mansub form or a majroor form, depending on where they are being attached to. So, that is number one. I did not write it there, but for our understanding, those are the mirun muttasilun. When I say darasa he studied, it is a verb, right. Now, in this lesson I know it is associated with huwa, so immediately I would know that it is being addressed to a third person singular masculine. Immediately I know, because this is the basic form of fi'l madi or past tense. Darasa, fa'il mustatir, fa'il is hidden, taqdiruhu, estimation of it is huwa. I know that. Darasa, where is the fa'il in darasa? Alif is the fa'il. Now, this is a concept in lesson number 8, which we will do some exercises inshallah. Is this attached to the verb? Yes, it is. Remember that. Okay, we'll go one by one. Darasu, where is the fa'il? Wow. Is this attached to the verb? Yes, it is. Okay. Darasat, fa'il mustatir. I know darasa and darasat, fa'il mustatir, ta is the ta'u tanisi, it's not a fa'il. We don't make that mistake anymore. Darasat fa'il mustatir, taqdiruhu hiya. Darasata, alif is the fa'il. Is it attached? Yes, it is attached. Darasna, where is the fa'il? Na, is it attached? Yes, it is attached. Darasata, darasta, oh sorry, darasna, darasta, where is the fa'il? Ta, is it attached? Yes. Tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna, tu and na. Are they all files? Yes, they are files. And what do we know about files? They are marfu, right? All files are marfu. But so what Dr. Saab is telling us, that when we identify the files in the past tense, then they become damirun muttasilun and they become file and they are marfu. That is only thing we are learning in lesson number 8, right? And then he is going one step further, where he is telling us darastum or darastuma. He is saying tu is the indication, technically tu is the file, that is what he is saying, but ma is the sign of it being dual. Okay. But for the sake of simplicity, if we understand this concept, fine. If we don't, it is not gonna change my objective, because my objective or our objective is to, as long as in the Quran I am identifying the verb and the file in the past tense, I am good with it. I don't have to break it down into two, but it's good. So that's fi'l madi. Now I don't think there's anything further to this fi'l madi. If there is any question, I will move on to fi'l mudare. Why we are doing fi'l mudare or the past present tense today? Because in lesson number 10, Dr. Saab is introducing us the present tense. But again, is this something new to us? There have been some couple classes we did where we kind of went through the present tense or fi'l mudare, right? So this is not something foreign to us, right? So we know what it is. Darasa yadrusu. Now, how do I know when I read the Quran, and we have done it before, but let's do it again. How do I identify a present tense in a Quran? Okay, so there is something called alamatu mudare, or sign of present tense, right? So remember, when a verb comes in the Quran, either it has a ya in the beginning, or a ta in the beginning, or a hamza in the beginning, or the noon in the beginning. Immediately I identify it as mudare. 4 things, remember: ya, ta, hamza and noon. Okay, so now I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now talking to us in present tense. Yeah, which is also future. And why we call it in the number is a future? It's valid for every time. Now this is a miracle of Quran, that whenever a present tense comes in, even though that present tense might be used to describe something in the past, it is a book that is valid until the day of judgment. So I challenge everyone to take that fail mudare or present tense and then think about it. You will find that this fail mudare is valid today as well, even though probably that mudare is being used to describe something in the past, or even in the future that present tense will remain valid. That's why we said this book is for all ages. That is the miracle of Quran, that mudare is forever. That's why we say it is future tense as well, like at the back end of it, it is future as well. So 3 signs: ya, ta, hamza and noon, right? So verb comes in the Quran, so immediately we know that we are dealing in the present tense and future tense. Now the second challenge we have to overcome when we are dealing in the fail mudare or the present tense is to identify who's the addressee, who's the file, the doer of the action, not the addressee, the doer of the action, file. Because immediately, remember, when a verb comes, the minimum requirement is the action and the doer of the action. Without the doer of the action cannot happen. So those two have to be there. When I say yadrusu, then file is mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. You know this chart, tadrusani, yadrusani. Where is the file? Alif. No, noon is the sign of it being marfu. Noon is the sign of it being marfu. We'll do it, but let's try to identify the files first, the doer of the action. So now I know when if yadrusani is, we come across yadrusani, immediately I know, okay, the action is being performed by third person, dual and masculine. Yadrusuna, wow, is the file. This will take some time. We don't expect ourselves to remember everything what we are learning today, right? But we keep practicing, and in this course we've been doing these concepts many times. So when you sleep in night and when you think about yadrusuna, immediately you say wow is the file. Okay, so we'll keep doing it. Tadrusu, file mustatir, taqdiruhu here, right? Tadrusani, alif. Yadrusna, now yadrusna is mabni. Okay, yadrusna is mabni. Tadrusu, tadrusani, alif is the file, waw is the file, ya is the file, alif is the file. Antunna, tadrusna, now antunna is mabni. Adrusu, file mustatir, nadrusu, file mustatir. Now there are few fail mudare where the file is mustatir, but our job is to identify that what are those. So adrusu, the file is always mustatir. Nadrusu, file is mustasir. Yadrusu, file is. We'll do it in more detail in lesson number 10. I'm just giving a broader concept here, because whenever a verb would come, we have to identify who's the file, where is the file, right? and present tense or fi'l mudari are always marfu. Now yadrusu, how do I know it's marfu? Dhamma is at the end, it's marfu. Yadrusani, noon is the sign of it being marfu. I went it quite quickly because this is perhaps, but it's just giving the concept. Yadrusuna, noon is a sign of it being marfu. Tadrusu, dhamma is the sign of it being marfu. Tadrusani, noon is the sign of it being marfu. Yadrusna, noon is the sign. Tadrusu, dhamma is the sign. Noon is the sign. Noon is the sign. Noon is the sign. Noon, dhamma and dhamma. Sign of it being marfu. Now, I'm questioning something. Why do I need to know that fi'l mudari is in its basic form is marfu? Why it is so important for me? Because fi'l mudari, and this is something we will learn in the later classes in book 2, that fi'l mudari can be mansoob too. Keep this in the back of your mind. This is not the topic of our class today, but I'm just saying fi'l mudari can be mansoob, and when fi'l mudari become mansoob, then these signs that we have identified will go away. Sign of marfu will go away. Or fi'l mudari can be majzoom too, but they can never be majroor. Just something to keep in mind. That's not the topic, fi'l mudari, but we are preparing ourselves for lesson number 10, because that's when we'll start to learn about fi'l mudaris. And then there's another form of verbs which is called fi'lu amrin, and it's beautiful verb in used in Quran, which is the verb of an order. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering somebody. Qul huwallahu ahad. This qul is coming from qala. Qala means he said. Qala comes in Quran all the time, right? Yaqulu is the he says. Yaqulu. Remember, ya comes immediately now identified as present tense, fi'l mudari, and then from yaqulu, when it comes to anta, you, it becomes taqulu, and then we do a little bit of a surgery on that fi'l mudari, it becomes qul. And when qul comes, then I know it is majzoom, fi'l amr or majzoom. That's why I said mudari can be majzoom, fi'l amr or majzoom too. Then immediately I know this is not a request by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not something that is being said casually. It is being ordered for us to say that. Qul is from anta, which means you, singular, masculine, one-to-one, second person, as if like Allah is, I'm talking to you as you are in front of me. Allah is in front of me and ordering me, and how could I ignore an order? Can I ignore an order from my boss or from my parents? No, I can't. I don't have any option. I gotta do it. So that's why knowing the grammatical construction of these words and these sentences, we would understand the emotions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what it is. A, we understand Quran. B, we do pondering a bit more, and then we understand the emotions that are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us. Sometimes he's angry, sometimes he's giving us an advice, sometimes he's lovingly or advising us something, using different combinations of words in an ayah. Right now, if I'm standing here, people listening, they're looking at my body language, the tone of my voice, right? They're looking at me and I'm delivering something, and so it's not just my words. It's not just my words that is being delivered. It's a package that's being delivered at this time, right? Allah is talking to us in Quran. How do we understand that package? I just going line by line and just read it, and that's it, not knowing anything, the meanings and the emotions. And then that's why when Sahaba and when they heard the Quran, their physical and mental and their status changed. Even the kuffar, when they heard the Quran, why it changed? It changed because they understood the power of those words. Unfortunately, we don't understand them. Let's move on to lesson number 8. Very easy lesson, page number 55. Okay, this is very simple. Dr. Saab has given us a chart. Dr. Saab has given us a chart, and he the first section is al-ghaib, third person, the second is al-mukhatib, second person, and the third person is al-mutakallim, first person, right, first person, inshallah. So al-muzakkar, the masculine, hamidun zahaba, hamidun zahaba. Now we all know that this is a jumla ismiya. Hamid is your mubtada and zahaba is your khabar, predicate. Now, is zahaba a verb? Yes, it's a verb. Huh? Yeah, yes, it's a verb. Now, he went. Now, knowing what we know now I know we're talking about third person, singular, masculine. So, fa'il is mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa, and who went? Hamid. Yudullu ala Hamid. You don't have to remember this taqdiruhu or yudullu. This will come in book 3, but I'm saying as long as we identify the zahaba, the fa'il is hidden inside zahaba and it goes back to Hamid, we know now that this is a jumla ismiya, that Hamid went. Then al-jama, the plural, hamidun wa hashimun wa aliyun zahabu. Same concept. Zahabu, where is the file in zahabu? Wow, very good, Atir bhai. Wow is the file. So I immediately know that the action is performed by third person, masculine, plural, right? So hamidun wa hashimun wa aliyun, mubtada, and zahabu is your jumla fe'liya coming as a predicate. And for people who are just starting, there are two types of sentences in Arabic language. One is a ismiya, a nominal sentence, and a verbal sentence. Nominal sentence, when a sentence begins with a noun, then it's a nominal sentence, and when a sentence begins with a verb, then it's a verbal sentence, and there are rules attached to it. Next one, al muannas, feminine, aminatu zahabat. Again, zahabat fa'il mustatir taqdiruhu hiya, we know that amina is a mubtada and zahabat. Now zahaba, zahabu, zahabat, are they only verbs or there is something else to it? They are complete jumla fe'liya. They themselves are like complete verbal sentences, because remember what I said in the beginning of the class, that the minimum requirement for a verbal sentence, the minimum is the action and the doer of the action. So even I remove Hamid from Hamidun Zahaba, even I remove Hamidun from this sentence, from this nominal sentence, jumla ismiya, but remains Zahaba. It is a complete jumla fe'liya. Why? Because the action is there and the doer of the action is there, and this is coming as a predicate for Hamid. So when I say Aminatu zahabat, then zahabat fa'il is mustatir taqdiruhu hiya, and it goes to Amina. Then Aminatu wa Zainabu wa Maryamu zahabna. Now na is the fa'il here. Al mukhatib, second person, anta zahabta. Zahabta, where is the fa'il in zahabta? Ta. Ta is the file. Now see, that's the common thing that we need to know. So it's a basic thing we need to know, that immediately we need to understand who's the doer of the action. So ta is the file, which means it's a second person, masculine singular. So now anta zahabta, you went. Now I'm not talking about a third person anymore. There's somebody in front of me who's a masculine and a singular. I'm telling him you went. Antum zahabtum, you all went, right? Anti zahabti, you went, feminine singular, second person. Antunna zahabtunna, right? Antunna zahabtunna, you all went, feminine, second person. So this is what we are learning, identifying the file, right? Now when I say zahabti and zahabtunna, and this is again we are understanding, when I say zahabti, zahabtunna, zahabna or zahabu, and I'm saying the minimum requirement is the action and the doer of the action. So when I say, for example, zahabti, where is the fail in zahabti? Zahab. Zahab is the fail, and where is the file? Ti, right? When I say zahabtunna, where is the fail? Where is the action? Zahab with the sakun, and where is the file? Tunna. So we're breaking it apart. So the minimum requirement is there. So it's a complete jumla failure, a verbal sentence, right? When I say zahabu, waw is the file. So zahabu without the waw is your fail, and waw is the file. So the two requirements, complete jumla failure. And the last one is al mutakallim, first person. Ana zahabtu and nahnu zahabna. Zahabna, we went. Ana zahabtu, I went, right? Zahabtu, where is the fail? Zahab. Where is the file? Tu. Okay, tamarin exercise, that's all. Lesson finished. We're going to exercises now. Here Dr. Saab want us to complete these sentences using the verb zahaba. So now the task here is, and this is where we should be. First we need to understand, looking at the sentence, who's performing the action. Step 1, who's performing the action. Then using the verb zahaba, we have to come with an suitable form of past tense. Okay, so the first one is aina tullabul jududu, where are the new students. Now, and then there is a blank, ilal mudiri. So they went to the mudir. Okay, so who's performing the action? Who's going to the mudir? Tullabu. Now is tullabu plural? Yes, is plural. Are they third person? Yes. Are they masculine? Yes. So I should be using a proper past tense for whom? Zahabu. Zahabu ilal mudiri. So we will say zahabu, they went to the mudir. Zahabu, right? And it's a jumla failure. Next one, nahnu. Nahnu is what? First person. First person and plurals, right? And then I'm going to have to use zahaba as a basic form. So what should I use? Zahabna. Nahanu zahabna ilal mal'abi. We went to the playground, right? Number 3, ya ikhwani, oh my brothers. Now it's people who've been in the class. What form of past tense we should be using here? First of all, should we use third person, second person, or first person? Second person, because ya is there. Now remember, ikhwani, my brothers, but ya is coming, and ya is harfu nida. I mean, it's a particle of calling, which means you only call people who are in front of you. I can't call somebody who's who's third person. That's when we say Ya Allah, which means we are testifying, and this is again the emotion, right? Ya Allah, people say it very casually, but now think about it, the emotions. I'm testifying that Allah is present in front of me, and I'm asking for His help or whatever I'm saying. Get it? Now the emotions are changed. Now I'm not casually saying Ya Allah and just move on. I step back and then I think about it, what I'm saying. I'm saying to him, can I just say Sardar and then just Sardar Sahab and just move on? No, then I have to engage with Sardar Sahab. So this is how we create emotions. So Ya Ikhwani, oh my brother, that means they're masculine, plurals, and second person. So, and using the Zahaba, what should I be using? Zahabtum. Zahabtum. Number 4, Ya Abi, oh my father. Now, oh my father, again Ya comes, which means second person, right? My father is in front of me. So, it is a singular masculine second person. So, I should use Zahabta. Zahabta in the sentence. Anta form, right? Zahabta. Then I say Ana. I'm not doing the translation. You can do that translation, right? That's easy. That's very easy. For example, Aina zahabtum ba'da darsi ya ikhwani. Where did you all go after the dars, after the lesson, oh my brothers? That's number 3. Number 4, now so that's why we're saying we repeat ourselves. What is harfu istifham, particle of interrogation? So what is the function of A? Remember, step 1, it always come in the beginning of the sentence. B, it will convert a sentence into a question. Okay, so let's do a litmus test here. Okay, what we said, let's do a litmus test here. Okay, I'm saying Ya Abi, masculine, second person. Azahabta ila sukil yaum ya Abi, did you go to the market today, oh my father? Why am I saying it in question mark? Because Hamzatu Istifham is in the beginning of the sentence, right? Remove Hamzatu Istifham from the sentence. See what happens. Atir bhai, see what? Then it becomes a fact, a sentence. Statement. Zahabta ila sukil yaum ya Abi, you went, oh my father, you went to the market today. So it's not a question anymore. Bring Hamzatu Istifham back, it becomes a question. So that is the function of Hamzatu Istifham. That's all it does. Okay. So and it is always in the beginning, even though sometimes it does not belong in the beginning of the sentence, but it pushes itself and say no, I gotta be in the front, because my function is to make the sentence as a question. So I have to be in the front, and we'll come across some examples later in the course, but I'm just saying it has to be in the front of a question. Number 5, Ana. When I say Ana, then I should be using Zahabtu. Ana ma zahabtu ila al maktabati al yawm. It's very simple. What is the translation, Atir bhai? I did not went. I did not go. I did not go to the library today. I did not go to the library. I have to be careful with my English grammar too. Not just Arabic grammar. Okay, because I know Nambai will get me after the class. You said that, and then I'll be like, okay, sorry. I'm very careful. Got eyes watching me. Number 6, Ummi. Now, Ummi, my mother. Now, there is no Ya here, and there is no indication that it is a second person. So that means I'm going to have to use a third person feminine singular. Zahabat ilal mustashfa. My mother went to the hospital, right? Mustashfa. And number 7, Ya banati. Now Ya comes, I know Ya comes, it's a second person. Banati, my daughters, I'm talking to my daughters, is feminine, it's second person, plurals, so I'm going to have to use hunna, antunna forms. Antunna forms. So I would say Azahabtunna li ziyarati khalati kunna ya banati. right? And again Hamzatul Istifham comes here. I want to do the litmus test again. Remove Hamzatul Istifham and say it becomes statement. Bring Hamzatul Istifham back, it becomes a question. Number 8, Akhi, I'm talking to my brother, okay, and there is no indication he's in front of me, otherwise there should be some indication. Ilal matar, so my brother went to the airport, so what should I use? Zahaba, simple. Zahaba akhi, my brother went to the airport. Number 9, akhawati, yeah, zahabna, because I'm not talking to my sisters. Ilal kulliyati, to the faculties, to the faculty, right? And number 10, ya Aisha, I'm addressing it to ya Aisha, and I know it's a question, so that means singular, second person, feminine. What should I use? Hiya form. Zahabat. Zahabat ilal madrasi ya Aisha. Oh, sorry, anti zahabti, anti zahabti, right? Zahabti. I'm talking to her in a second person, not hunna, but anti. Zahabti. Now remove Hamzatul Istifham, then it becomes a statement. Bring Hamzatul Istifham back. This is a litmus test that we do. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is a bit more challenging, but we can handle it. Here we don't have given the choice of a verb, we have to bring on our own verbs, okay, so we'll do it. We have time, and we'll inshallah finish it. Yeah, we have 20-25 minutes, so we'll finish it inshallah. Akmil, complete. So we have to complete these sentences, bringing our own from our own vocabulary. We have to bring in the verbs, right? So comes Hamzatul Istifham, and I'm talking to ya Muhammad, second person, singular, masculine, right? So al azana, so we want to say did you hear the azan, O Muhammad, right? So what is the basic verb? Samia. Samia, he heard, but now I'm talking to ya Muhammad, so sami'ta. Now sami'ta, where is the verb? Sami', and where is the file? Ta. Did you hear the azan, O Muhammad? Number 2, nahanu. Now I know immediately nahanu comes, I have to bring in a past tense ending with the na, right? Nahanu kurata salatul yawm, which is the basketball today. What do we with the basketball? Do we play? So the verb is laiba. Laiba means he played. But now laibna, very good. Laibna, we played basketball today. Laibna, where is the verb? Laib, where is the file? Na. Number 3, Qumsani wa manadili ya ummi. Ya ummi comes, so I have to immediately now think, okay, ya ummi comes, which means the second person feminine, singular. So I'm going to have to bring in a verb, any verb, which should be anti, which should be in a form of an anti form, right? So what I'm asking her, I wanted to ask my mother, ghasala, he washed. So what would be the anti form of ghasala? Ghasalti, right? Ghasalti. Ghasal is your verb, anti is your file. Ghasalti qumsani wa manadili ya ummi. Then al mudarris ad darsa ala saburati. Now the teacher did something to the lesson on the whiteboard. So what did he do? He wrote it. Now there is no indication it is a second person, so it's a third person. So kataba means he wrote, right? Kataba, al katabal mudarrisu, the teacher wrote, ad darsa, the lesson, ala saburati, on the whiteboard. Now this is a very interesting sentence. Let's quickly do some surgery on it. Is this a jumla failure, verbal sentence? It is. What are we looking for in a verbal sentence? A fail and a file, right? So when I say kataba, where is the file? No, not mustatir. Al mudarrisu. Now remember, kataba, if the file can be makhfi and could be hidden, or it could be in the verb itself, or if the file is mentioned separately. So whenever a jumla fi'liya comes, and there is a noun which is marfu in that jumla fi'liya, remember what we say? Close your eyes, put your finger on that noun and say, this is my file, and don't ask any other question. So kataba, even though just looking at kataba itself, the file is mustatir, but then al mudarrisu followed by kataba. So immediately now my file becomes not hidden anymore. It comes out, it jumps out. The teacher wrote. Specific, yes, the teacher wrote. Now remember, we said in the beginning of the class, some verbs come across to us and we would ask them what or whom, right? So the teacher wrote what? So now I need an object. He wrote something, right? And then objects are mansoob. He wrote what? He wrote the lesson, ad-darsa, and mafulun bihi, they are mansoob. Allah saburati is jar majroor. Number 5, Hamidun wa Hishamun wa Bilalun. That's okay. So first one is ana. So I have to bring in a past tense with ana, with a file with tu at the end of it. What did I did with the Babul Fasli, the door of the class? What did I do with it? I opened it. We don't want to close the door, right? We want to keep it open. So ana, fataha, he opened. Fatahtu Babal Fasli. And then the next one, wa Hamidun wa Hishamun wa Bilalun, they did something with the windows, Nawafiza. What did they did? Fatahu, with the waw, with the hum, right? Because ana is first person and Hamid, Hisham and Bilal, they are third person. So when I use the verb fatahtu, which means I am using the verb in a first person, but when I am talking about Hamidun, Bilalun and Hishamun, I am talking about third person now. That's all Dr. Sahab is trying to teach us. So it takes practice, but slowly we'll get it. Number 6, ya banati. Ya banati means O daughters. O daughters. So I'm talking to daughters, feminines, second person, plurals, antunna. First we have to imagine now it's antunna, and something to do with the new lesson. So fahima means he understood, and fahimtunna would qualify for ya banati. Fahimtunna, did you all understand the new lesson, O daughters? Forget about Jaidan for now. Jaidan is mafulun mutlaq. We'll park it in the parking lot. Don't worry about that for now. Number 7, zamilati. My colleagues or my class fellows, right? Third person, feminine, plurals, right? So 3 questions in the beginning when we are doing this exercise, we have to ask 3 questions. A, is it masculine, feminine? B, it is second person, third person, first person, C, is it plural or singular, right? So something happened to my class fellows. Minal Fasli, they did something. Minal Fasli, from the class. After the class, they did something. So they left. So I say kharajna. Kharaja, he left. Kharajna, they left, right? They left. So I say zamilati kharajna minal fasli badat hunna form. I will bring the hunna form. Number 8, ya abnai, O my sons. Now first thing I identified in the sentence that it is a second person, masculine and plural. So now I know I have to bring the antum form. I have to bring the antum form. This is a good lesson. I mean, it prompts a lot of question and understanding. You know, it's important for us. So, ya abnai, the doer of the actions are ya abnai, O my sons. So, they did something to the Quran after Salatul Fajri, after the Salah of Fajr. What did they did? Antum qaratum. But then Hamzatul Istifham is there. So, now what did Hamzatul Istifham did? It changed this statement into a question, right? A question. Remove Hamzatul Istifham, statement. Bring it back, question. Number 9, Akhi, my brother, third person, masculine, singular. So, I am going to have to bring in the basic form, huwa form, hafiza. He memorized Suratul Rahman. Okay. Akhi, my brother, memorized. Now, we are dealing in past tense only. We are not dealing in fail mudare, the present tense at this time. But we have some knowledge about them. Number 10, ana. Now, ana, first person, singular, and then the first person is same for masculine and feminine. Nahnu and ana is same for masculine and for feminine. So, we don't have, so there are only two choices here, either ana or nahnu. Okay, that's important. So, I ana an qalami walakinni ma wajadtuhu. So, I did try to do an action on my pen, but I did not find it. Walakinna, lakinna, we learned about lakinna, right? We know about lakinna. Lakinna, what are we looking for? Ismul lakinna and khabar likna. That's not the topic today. But then lakinna is min akhawatu inna. Min akhawatu inna. So, when lakinna comes, we have to identify ismu inna. Where is the ismu inna? Ya is the ismu inna. And where is the khabar inna? Khabar lakinna? Wajadtuhu, complete jumla failure, coming as a khabar for khabar lakinna, and it is
ma is also included. Ma is khabar.
oh yeah, sorry, ma is there, yeah, ma, which is the negation. I did not find it, ma, yeah, and it is khabar lakinna marfu, and ya mutakallim is mansub. We know this thing, but that's not the topic here. So, I did something. So, bahasa mean he looked for, right. So, when I say I looked for, ana bahastu, I looked for an qalami, for my pen, qalami, two words, mudaf alayh, ya mutakallim, my pen, walakinni, and I did not, ma wajadtuhu, I did not find it. Wajadtuhu, how many words in wajadtuhu? 3 words. 3 words. Wajad, verb, fail, tu, file, hu, mafulun bihi, right. I did not find what? It needs a mafulun bihi, an object. Hu, the mirun muttasilun, coming as a object for wajada. I did not find it, and ma is harfu nafi. Number 11, hazihil hayyata, man, who, somebody did something to the snake. So, qatala, man qatala, who killed this snake. We move on. Asharabt, okay. Al qahwata, now ya Maryam. Ya Maryam comes now. What are the 3 questions? Feminine, singular, second person, anti form. Anti form. She did something to the qahwa, right? She did something to the qahwa. Asharabtil qahwa, did you drink qahwa or coffee? Ya Maryam, O Maryam, remove Hamzatul Istifham, statement, bring it back, question. You got it. Number 13, Zumalai, my colleagues. Now, it's not feminine anymore, it's masculine, right. My class fellows, they did something to the al-mauza, which is a banana. They did something. What do? They ate it. So it's third person masculine plurals. So I should bring the home form akalu. Akala means he ate, akalu they ate. Okay. Akalu zumulai my colleagues ate al mauza. Akalu they my colleagues they ate what? What should I bring? Object. Mafulun bhi, they ate something. Al mauza, the banana. Wa ana and I akaltul inaba, the grapes. Number 14. Fatimatu bintaha bil asa. She did something. Fatima did something to her daughter with the stick. Daraba hi ho sakta hai. It should be daraba, but then let's say ma daraba, because that's we don't make it in negation. Okay, make it in negation. So don't say Fatima is a third person singular feminine, so darabat, we say ma darabat. She did not hit. Bintaha.
But still there is a room.
Yeah, she did not. Yeah. But just
Something else.
keep it safe. We say ma darabat. Ma darabat. Fatimatu bintaha bilasa. She did not hit her daughter with the stick. Okay. Ta'ammal ma yali. Now this we already know. Ponder the following. We already did that. Zahaba fails. Damirun muttasilun. Damir mustatir is hidden. File huwa. Zahabu. Zahabu is your fail and wow is your file. We already did that. So this is just a good chart. Zahabat. Zahaba is the fail. Tu is the ta with the sakun is alamatus tanisi, right? It indicates that it is a alama means sign of it being feminine. The mirror mustatir. The file is mustatir. Taqdiruhu hiya. Zahabna. We know where is the fail, we know where is the file. Zahabta, we know where is the fail, we know where is the file. Zahabtum, we know where is the fail, where is the file. Zahabti, we know fail and file. Same with Zahabtunna, Zahabtu and Zahabna, we already know this. We understood in the beginning of the class. So Dr. Saab is only putting a chart there. So it's very simple. How to identify Zahabtu, Zahab is the fail and Tu is the file. That's all he is doing. Now, how much time we have? Maybe 5-10 minutes. So we inshallah finish it. Ayin, specify. Okay, it's very simple. It's all we have to do is specify a file or the doer of the action in these verbs. Kharajtu, where is the file? Tu. Jalasna, where is the file? Na. Sameti, ti. Sharabtunna, tunna. Dakhalu, wow. Hafizna, noon. Akaltum, tum. Fataha, mustatir, hidden. Taqdiruhu, huwa. Because this is the basic form, right? So you gotta be careful. Fahimtunna, tunna. Katabta, ta. Ghasalat, mustatir. Now remember, huwa and hiya. He's my favorite student. Huwa and hiya. For those two young people, you know, this age 15, 16, mashallah, they are better than us. They grasp very quickly. Yeah. Huwa and hiya. Remember, huwa and hiya, the file or the doer of the action is always hidden inside the verb. For rest of them, it is apparent. We can identify it. So keep this rule in mind. Ghasalat, she washed. So ghasalat, the ta is not the file here, because ta is a sign, and this is a common mistake people do. Ta is basically a sign of it being feminine. It indicates to me that it is third person and it is talking about the feminine singular. But the file is mustatir. Only in this ghasalat, you keep that in mind. Laibu, they played. Wow is the file. Dakhala, again dakhala, there is no apparent file here, so it is huwa, the basic form. And darabat, again the file is mustatir, because ta is the tautanisi. Number 5. Now number 5, we already did that in the beginning of the class. It's a small little chart that Dr. Saab is giving us. Remember when we say ta tumatum, ti tumatunna, tuna, they are all pronouns and they are attached pronouns. Now, do I really need to know? Yeah, it's good to know, but then it's good to know this thing, but as long as I can identify it in the Quran, I'm fine. Tambal Mayali, last one. Now, the last one is again good information. Aina Hamidun, where is Hamid? Kharaja. What is the meaning of Kharaja, Atir bhai? He left. He left. Now, Kharaja, fail, file is mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. When I say Aina Aminatu, where is Amina? Kharajat. This is something that I was talking about, that in huwa and the hiya form, the file is always mustatir. That's what Dr. Saab is saying. You don't have a book. Now, maybe we should give him a book.
Okay.
Yeah. You have one at home. Bring it next time. Kharajat. Kharaja is your fail, and ta is the taw tanisi, sign of it being feminine, and the file is mustatir, hidden, taqdiruhu hiya. So, that's what Dr. Saab is telling us. Now, lesson number 9 is very interesting. It's a long lesson, and it basically culminates a lot of the concepts we have learned in book 1 and book 2. So, we'll take our time to do lesson number 9. It's lesson number 8 is an easy lesson, but has a lot of little concepts. We already knew those concepts, but it's good to revise, because now we are preparing ourselves for 9 and 10. When the Mudare comes, we should master at least the Mahdi before moving to the Mudare form. I think that's it. Inshallah, we'll do the dua and culminate our class. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu alal lazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna alal qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.